They say her voice carried through the walls like a cold wind, whispering threats in the dark and laughing when the candles flickered out. But in the Tennessee woods, where the Cumberland meets the mist, there lived a spirit no one could see, but everyone feared. Welcome to Appalachian After Dark. I'm Joe, and tonight we're digging into one of the South's most chilling legends, the Bell Witch of Adams, Tennessee, or as some of the old folks called her, Black Bear. This isn't just a ghost story. This is Appalachian folklore soaked in fear, faith, and family. A tale that's lasted over 2 centuries and still echoes through the caves, hollers, and late-night whispers of the region. So turn down the lights. Let's step into the dark. In the early 1800s, John Bell and his family moved to the small rural town of Red River, later known as Adams, Tennessee. By all accounts, they were respectable, God-fearing people who were farmers, hard workers, and definitely churchgoers. But in 1817, things changed. It started small. The tapping, scratching, strange knocking from inside the walls of their log home. At first they blamed it on the rats, then the wind, but nothing explained the whispering. A faint voice, hard to understand, like someone mumbling just out of reach. Then came the blankets being ripped off their beds, their hair being yanked, slapped in the dark. Betsy Bell, the daughter, was the main target. She'd be left with welts and bruises after invisible attacks. But John Bell, he was singled out too. The voice, still faint, still shadowy, calling him names and cursing him. And every day it got louder. Now, most hauntings fade and spirits tire. Energy burns out like a lantern starved of oil. But not Kate. Oh no. Kate grew stronger. She debated theology with visitors. She predicted events before they happened. She appeared to friends and foes alike. Sometimes in a kind way, other times she was cruel. Even President Andrew Jackson is said to have visited the Bell property, only to leave in a hurry, reportedly explaining that he would rather face the entire British Army again than to spend another night on that cursed land. And when John Bell finally passed away in 1820, many believed it was the witch who seen to it. She claimed that she poisoned him, that his time had come, and she would no longer be silenced. His funeral was disrupted by loud laughter, singing, disembodied and inescapable sounding. And then, just as suddenly as she had come, the Bell Witch declared she would leave, but promised to return in 7 years. Some said she did, appearing to John Bell Jr. in 1828, speaking of the past and the future and the spiritual world in ways that no mortal should understand. And even though her spirit's visits grew rare, the story never left. If you've ever had a brush with the unexplained, if you've walked through a room and felt someone there when no one was, or maybe heard your name whispered in the wind, I want to hear your story. Leave it in the comments, or if it's too personal for public eyes, send me a message, and I'll read every one of them. Your story could end up on an episode of Appalachian After Dark, if you'd like. Now, nestled along the banks of the Red River lies the Bell Witch Cave, a dark, damp cavern that draws the curious and the brave. Many believe this cave to be the resting place, or even the prison, of the Bell Witch herself. Visitors have reported strange phenomena, voices whispering from the rocks, cold hands brushing against their skin, and shadows that move where no shadows should be. Some leave offerings, and others, they leave running. But almost no one leaves untouched. And you know, if I can speak from my own spirit for just a moment, standing there near that cave, even just knowing its story, you feel something. It's not just a tale passed down through generations. It's like the land remembers, the trees and the river remembers, and it whispers it back to you. There's a chill that isn't from the air, a heaviness that sits behind your ribs. I've always been sensitive to energy, but the feeling I got thinking about the Bell family, the torment they went through, and the sorrow, and that voice, that mocking, know-it-all voice, it sticks with you. And maybe that's why the story hasn't died, because the land and the people who tell it. Here is your Appalachian fun fact, but tonight it's got a little story to it. In some parts of Appalachia, folks believed that if you heard 3 knocks at your door, but no one was there, it wasn't just a prank, it was the death knock. A spirit or something older letting you know that someone close to you was about to pass. My mama used to say, you don't open the door when you hear it. You light a candle and say a prayer, because it's not meant for company. It's meant to be a warning. That belief may sound old-fashioned now, but let me tell you, there are still folks who hear those knocks and don't sleep right for days. To get a better understanding of the Bell Witch story, I had to consult the cards, and I did a tarot pull. I pulled the High Priestess card earlier today. I paused, looked and examined it, because it wasn't just a card, it felt like a mirror. She is the keeper of secrets, of feminine wisdom, of things not meant for all eyes. She invites us to stop talking and start listening, not just to the world around us, but to our own gut, our dreams, and our fears. In the context of the Bell Witch, maybe it's not about finding out what exactly happened, but it's accepting the some truths live in between history and folklore, in between fear and faith. Maybe we're not meant to know, what happened on that day or who the real Bell Witch is meant to be. The High Priestess reminds me, and maybe you too, that we don't always need to explain the mystery. Sometimes it's just enough to honor it. If this tale sent a chill crawling up your spine or made you question just what lies beyond the veil, then I ask you to take a moment and pause and show your support by liking this video, subscribing to the Appalachian After Dark segment of the Celtic Goddess Vibes channel on YouTube, so you never miss another tale that's whispered through the hollers and ridges of this haunted land. Feel free to share this episode with your friends and your family, and anyone who dares to walk the woods at night. And if the story of the Bell Witch left a chill down your spine, you'll want to join me next time as we step into the haunted halls of Rotherwood Mansion, a grand southern estate in Tennessee wrapped in tragedy, betrayal, and a ghostly figure said to be forever trapped in a flowing white gown. From enslaved spirits to cursed family lines, this house doesn't just whisper, it wails. Subscribe now and come back for another walk through the Appalachian After Dark, if you dare.